I don't trust the glowies, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy, you ready? Another FBI video. You know, I'm throwing these out there like a goddamn AK-47, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I feel a little bit of sickness coming on to me, so I just want to start off by saying that, let me tell you something right now, okay? It sucks, all right? Getting a sore throat is like basically being told that, guess what? The next few days are gonna suck, buddy. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the FBI has started to fearmonger a little bit on something that I don't really think is that big of a deal. Now, I'm not saying the FBI is in the wrong here, but I just want to like clear up some misinformation because I've been seeing this article pop up for like the last few days, okay? Over and over and over again. Every time I'm on the can and I whip out my phone, I swipe to the little Google tab. Beware of juice jacking. You know, you're getting to the point where like Forbes is making like 1 million articles on this shit. How juice jackers plant malware. 4 tips to avoid juice jacking. Need to charge your phone? Think twice. Juice jackers might come for you. Now, juice jackers are not the weird dudes on the bus that are like stealing your appy juice, your little Tetra Packs. No, these are people that basically allegedly make charging stations where you plug your cell phone in via USB, and they can basically breach your phone security and steal your data, okay? All under the guise of providing you a little bit of a charge. Now, of course, the FBI Denver avoid using free charging stations in airports, hotels, or shopping centers. Bad actors have figured out the way to use public USB ports to introduce malware and a monitoring software on your own devices. Carry your own charger and your USB cords. Now, of course, the FBI isn't necessarily wrong, but alongside the FBI, the goddamn Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, jumped in and said, planning to travel? No doubt you'll have your cell phone, and you'll need to recharge it. If your battery is running low, be aware that juicing up your electronic devices at free USB port charging stations might have unfortunate consequences. So, of course, the basic advice they provide you is, hey, dumbass, bring your own AC charger instead. And make sure to carry a power bank. Never trust those free USB ports out in the wild. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the FBI and the FCC are not necessarily wrong. But when I looked into this situation, I was like, are we really reviving something back from 2011? Now, to understand, basically, every time you plug in a phone via USB or a lightning port, you're effectively connecting it to another computer, maybe another little processor, maybe to the wall. Now, USB carries over data, it can carry over video, and most importantly, it can carry over power. This little port can do all 3 things at once. Now, generally speaking, when you plug your phone into a AC power cord, like basically a little plug, a little plug you get with your phone. Again, nowadays with a $2,000 phone, they don't even give you a little charging plug. But basically, your little charging block, your plug, effectively provides like 5 amperes of power to your actual phone. So you connect that to the wall, and there's no data being transferred. There's nothing but power being sent. And that's pretty much all you have to do to protect yourself from such a scary situation. Now, of course, what they're talking about is when you go to an airport, typically they'll have like charging stations where they'll have USB ports that you can plug it in. Now, the general theory is there's some bad people that can engineer those like charging stations, install a fake one, and basically provide you with the power, but also hack your phone. Now, again, I don't have to remind you because these are typically designed to be in public locations, specifically airports. The actual possibility of a hacker getting in and putting in a fake USB charging station is almost goddamn zero. So again, people are kind of wondering, how the fuck is this actually that scary? Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go over a few scenarios where this can actually happen, and you actually should watch out for them. Because as much as the FBI would like to fearmonger, sometimes it's nice to provide realistic examples and how you can avoid being, I guess you could say, juice jacked, if you will. Now, let's say that you have to go to a public station and, oh boy, your phone needs a charge. Then all you have to do is hold the power button on your device, and you know where you can basically just go off and like hit the power off key right there? Yeah, press that, completely power off your device, then plug it in. Surprisingly, they can't get into your phone's data when it's completely shut off. All your phone does is charge at that point. So that's a basic way to beat it. Now, the other big scenario is obviously there are actual USB attacks that exist. Now, all the way back from 2011, there were categories of USB attacks, like, for example, bad USB, the rubber ducky attacks, and if you remember, I actually showcased the Flipper Zero, which has its own ability to send those bad USB attacks over. Now again, most devices and most smartphones are updated enough where a lot of these attacks typically cannot happen. If you plug in a smartphone nowadays, specifically an Android phone, you can even set it so that it doesn't transmit data, only power. Now, one good example of what they're talking about is right here. This is a video from 2012, okay? So before I even started my YouTube channel, this is actually a little kiosk from DEF CON where basically if you fire it up, you can see that when you connect an iPhone, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a USB port for an iPhone. That's not even USB. That's like the original iPhone iPod Touch charging port, that long-ass behemoth of a fucking plug. That used to be the original plug. I guarantee you there are people watching this video right now that weren't even born when that plug was a standard feature. But of course, you can see when it's plugged in. When this kiosk detected the data, it changed it to basically remind you that, yes, this kiosk was able to access the data of this iPhone device. Now, this is a good example of what juice jacking is. Obviously, this is from 2012. That doesn't mean it can't happen now, but the probability of it happening is almost zero. Now, what you really have to watch out for are actual cables that are out in the wild. So, for instance, there is a lot of actual counter security, counterintelligence products that you can buy right now to spy on people. Now, I don't recommend you do it, but again, I'm showing you the gray market world of, cybersecurity products that you can buy. So here's a cable from Hack 5. Now, this is the OMG cable, which is $180, okay? So I don't expect people to generally be buying this. Now, here you can buy this in an elite package, a basic package, which we'll get into exactly what it is. So the basic is 120, the elite is like 180, and you can pick which USB you want. You can have USB-C, USB-A, directional C-to-C, so on and so forth. Now again, you can buy this in lightning connections, standard USB-C, so on and so forth. And what these cables allow you to do is, believe it or not, keystroke injection, mouse injection, self-destruction, geofencing, Wi-Fi triggers, and if you buy that elite service, full-speed USB hardware keyloggers, covert data exfiltration, air-gap communications, network C2, extended Wi-Fi ranges, and stealth-optimized power draw. So if you plug it into a power meter, you might not be able to figure out exactly if this cable is very nefarious. So again, to understand, this is a cable that anybody can buy, and it's primarily designed to spy on, cheating spouses, and effectively it serves as, again, a spy tool. Now, you might be like, but Muda, how is this legal? Well, because it's in the gray market, typically these products are allowed to be sold. You're not allowed to use them to actually spy on people, from what I understand, or use them for actual illegal means. But of course, selling these is not necessarily breaking the law. Now, of course, the possibility of this device being used against you is, in my opinion, significantly higher than the juice jacking. Imagine if you go to a Starbucks and somebody who has this cable just kind of leaves it in there in a USB port, and somebody going to a coffee shop might be like, damn, I need a charge. I'm running at 5%. Oh shit, free cable. Let's plug it in. Again, you have to kind of you have to kind of let your imagination run wild. But by plugging a cable like this into your device, you're effectively allowing somebody using this to break in and keylog your things and look through your device. Now, even the keylogger itself is scary as hell. Imagine if you were on just browsing, signing into, web services, or entering your credit card details, or doing something with the keyboard. You could actually give up a lot of information that you probably didn't want to. Now, if these cables were dirt cheap, for instance, nothing would stop people using these, running Amazon shell companies, which are already used to sell scam products anyways, and sell cheap USB cables loaded with actual cyber-busting malware within them. Now, that's just one example, ladies and gentlemen, and when it comes to, products that are used to spy on people, sometimes even the biggest companies in the world sell actual useful products. This is the Apple AirTag, right? Which, from what I understand, utilizes, ultra-wideband technology, and it's basically allowing you to, you can connect this, you can, put this on a keychain or stick this anywhere in your house, and you can literally walk up right to it, literally a centimeter away, and find out where it is. Now, a lot of people use this, unfortunately, to spy on people. For instance, literally last month, Grapevine police out in Texas are investigating a case of a woman possibly being tracked with one of these AirTag products. Now, obviously, Apple has technology built into it, so if your iPhone is near an AirTag that's constantly following them that they haven't signed up with, they will be alerted. But again, imagine if you didn't have an iPhone. Imagine if you were on an Android phone like me, which wouldn't give the notification as far as I know. Obviously, people can buy other devices that are independent of the Apple technology and can be used to spy on you without triggering any alert. So again, you might be like, how are these products legal, Muda? Again, this is a gray market. This can be used for a very good reason. Unfortunately, the bad people can use good technology for bad, reasons, for bad cases. Now you might be like, but Muda, how do I use a public USB device? What if I absolutely need to use it? Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I told you at the beginning of the video, USB ports allow you to transmit video, data, which is basically video, and power. Now, you can buy shit like the Porta-Pow. Yeah, it sounds like porta-potty. These are effectively little like blockers. USB condoms is what you might have heard your grandpa call them, where basically you plug your goddamn USB device in, this little thing strips the data and only feeds power. Now again, I think you're paying an arm and a leg for a feature you don't goddamn need. Again, this can all be solved by utilizing an actual AC power adapter, all right, like a little charging block, plugging that into any wall you wanted, and totally ignoring the whole juice-jacking dilemma that the FBI and the FCC and all these sites want to fearmonger you with. Now, you'll probably read from large companies like Honeywell Forge, hey guys, 52% more malware has been designed to leverage USB attacks, 51 threats to establish remote access. Yeah, USBs can be scary. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's easy to bypass USB attacks if you just have a little bit of that thing called common sense. Now, of course, there's also other things like the USB killer you might have heard of, $124 to basically blow up whatever you want if it has a USB port. This device is effectively a power surge attack. To show you just what it does, basically these people connected it to an actual graphics card, where once they plugged it in, to understand what they were doing is they were sending out pulses of electrical shocks, electrical charges, and these would be enough to actually just kill the graphic card right there in front of you. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the same people who sell this, goddamn device killer also sell a shield, which is nothing more than a device that effectively detects power surge attacks and, mitigates them in real time. So again, in order to protect yourself from any of this juice-jacking dilemma, all you need to do is bring a fucking charging block, which is a very, very cheap fix, and also don't plug in your phone to any random USB port out there. I mean, what is wrong with you people? Anybody that's out there trusting their phone, arguably something that's more important than their wallet when it comes to their personal, safety and their personal information. Why would you ever plug this into a device you don't trust? In fact, why would you ever plug a USB device that you don't trust into any of your actual systems? Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, be very careful. Obviously, don't follow for the fear-mongering. The actual chances of this happening to you are very, very minimal. But again, I'm not saying the FBI is wrong. I'm not even saying the FCC is wrong here. I'm not saying any of these three-letter agencies are wrong. But again, all this fear-mongering that the news media, the feds, the glowies want to tell you can all be mitigated with a goddamn charging block and a little bit, just a little bit, I'm not even saying a whole goddamn lot, just a little bit of common sense. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I end the video off, I'm going to go play some single-player Tarkov, thanks God to SPT Aki. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this because there's some, threats of DMCAs and goddamn illegality when I mention it. But imagine making a multiplayer game that has so many hackers roaming around within it that you've got 1 million people downloading a mod to just play it single player while keeping all the progression. Why am I mentioning this? Because I have a whole video about online single player experiences. Yes, I'm trying to relive my nostalgia by playing Battlefield 3 like it was the old days. Maybe it's fruitless, maybe it's whatever, but hopefully you had a good time with today's video, ladies and gentlemen. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. Don't get juice checked. God damn. Happy Eid to all my Muslim viewers. I am